Most men go their entire lives without understanding the true power they carry within themselves. As they seek external validation, they spend their vital energy without realizing the price they are paying. Lack of motivation, constant tiredness, and a feeling of emptiness that never disappears. What no one tells you is that this energy was not meant to be dissipated in momentary pleasures, but rather to be transformed into strength, focus, and magnetism. The Creator of the universe gave you a gift, but are you wasting it? Imagine walking into a room and feeling like everyone notices you, not because of what you say, but because of your simple presence. Men respect you, women observe you with curiosity, and you feel like you are finally in control of your life. This is not a gift reserved for a few, but a natural effect for those who master their own energy. Semen retention is not a theory, it's a secret weapon that few know about and even fewer have mastered. When you stop wasting your life force, something amazing happens. Your confidence increases, your mind becomes sharper, and your life begins to align. But be careful, this knowledge is not for everyone. Most are not ready for this truth and prefer to continue living in mediocrity. If you've made it this far, it means you're ready for something bigger. Are you ready to awaken this strength within you? Because once you understand the power of this practice, there is no going back. Many live without knowing the real impact that vital energy has on their body, mind, and spirit. Semen retention is not just a physical practice, but a philosophy that completely alters the way a man views himself and the world around him. When this energy is preserved, there is a significant increase in mental clarity, discipline, and inner strength. The Creator of the universe endowed us with this vital force, but few know how to use it wisely. Imagine someone who spends years wasting their energy without realizing the cost. Constant fatigue, lack of focus, and an unstable emotional state. When a man learns to channel this energy, he notices a profound change in his state of mind. He begins to feel an inner peace that previously seemed unattainable, a sense of mastery over himself that completely transforms his confidence. This does not mean repression, but rather the conscious use of one's own strength. Great spiritual masters, monks and sages have always understood that control over one's own vital energy leads to a state of inner light. Just like a river that, when dammed, gains strength and depth, the man who conserves his energy becomes more powerful, magnetic, and respected. The effects begin to appear on a daily basis. Simple tasks, once tedious, become simple and enjoyable. Prosperity arrives naturally, because the energy that was previously dissipated is now directed towards creating, building, and transforming. The man who practices mindfulness realizes that his words have more weight, his presence becomes stronger, and his intuition sharpens. But this is just the beginning. Something even more powerful happens when that energy is refined and channeled for greater purposes. Well-directed masculine energy creates a magnetic effect that cannot be ignored. When a man retains his life force, he does not need to say anything to be noticed. His presence alone commands respect. Have you ever noticed how some people enter a room and everyone feels their energy without them having to speak? This happens because their vibration is strong, centered, and authentic. The Creator of the universe gave us a powerful energy field, but it dissipates when we waste this strength. Those who practice retention notice that others begin to react differently, showing more consideration and even admiration, without them needing to demand it. This respect does not come from a forced attitude or an attempt to appear superior, but from an inner peace that is reflected in the look, posture, and way of interacting with the world. Men start to treat him more seriously, and women notice a different magnetism, something rare these days. This happens because the retained energy creates a natural alignment between body, mind, and spirit. It is as if the person is in tune with a higher frequency, and this translates into authority and charisma. Those who once underestimated now look on in awe, trying to understand what has changed. But this change does not happen by chance. Just as a warrior trains his sword, the man who practices retention trains his presence. He learns to channel his energy into projects, relationships, and personal growth. The inner light he radiates is noticed by everyone around him. Over time, he understands that he doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Your own energy speaks for itself, and that's exactly what makes you seen differently. But what if this transformation went beyond the physical and reached an even deeper level? There is something fascinating about a man who is not easily shaken. He walks firmly, looks you in the eye without hesitation, and conveys a confidence that requires no words. This confidence does not come from an inflated ego, but from deep self-control. When a man retains his vital energy, he experiences a natural increase in testosterone, and this is reflected in the way he behaves. The Creator of the universe designed us to be strong, centered, and aligned with our purpose. But when this energy is wasted, the result is the opposite: insecurity, lack of focus, and a constant feeling of emptiness. Over time, this inner strength transforms even the small details of everyday life. The way a man sits, the way he expresses himself, the way he reacts to situations, everything takes on greater weight. He becomes someone that others listen to carefully. This change does not go unnoticed. The peace he carries within him translates into absolute confidence, and this attracts people from all directions. The look becomes more penetrating, the voice firmer, and the charisma intensifies. He becomes that type of person who doesn't need to raise his voice to be heard, because his simple presence already commands respect. But the most interesting thing is that this trust is not limited to social interactions. It is reflected in decisions, projects, and even the search for prosperity. A man who trusts himself does not hesitate to chase his dreams, because he knows he has what it takes to achieve them. This change in mentality causes opportunities to emerge where they previously seemed non-existent. And so, he begins to realize that this energy has the power to shape his reality. But what happens when that confidence combines with an even greater level of self-control? True power is not in brute force, but in absolute control over yourself. Semen retention is one of the greatest tests of discipline a man can face, as it requires him to overcome his most primal urges. And the result? A self-control that is reflected in all areas of life. If a man can master this energy, he can master anything. The Creator of the universe gave us the ability to choose between being slaves of our desires or masters of our own existence. The difference between those who prosper and those who drift is the ability to resist the immediate to reap something greater in the future. Over time, this self-control begins to shape one's perception of reality. The man who practices retention realizes that his decisions stop being impulsive and become strategic. He becomes more aware of his thoughts, emotions, and actions. Small distractions that once stole his attention lose their power, and he develops an almost unwavering focus. This change directly affects his inner peace, as he realizes that he is no longer a slave to external stimuli. He controls what he feels, what he thinks, and, most importantly, how he reacts to the world around him. This new awareness creates a ripple effect. With more energy and focus, he naturally becomes more productive, which results in more prosperity. He realizes that what once seemed difficult, whether reading an entire book, starting a business, or changing his life, now becomes a matter of time and dedication. He begins to realize that everything in life is connected, and that the energy he preserves has the power to open unexpected doors. But the most fascinating thing happens when this transformation affects not only your mind and body, but also your relationships. The way a man relates significantly when he retains his vital energy. Before, he might seek external validation, trying to please or impress, but now he becomes the center of gravity himself. Your presence grows stronger, and people feel this change. Connections are now built on an obvious basis, without games or the need for approval. The Creator of the universe gave us the ability to establish deep bonds, but this only happens when we are aligned with our essence. A man who knows his worth doesn't chase it, he attracts it, retaining superficial distant relationships and strengthening those that truly matter. Friends, partners, and even family members begin treatment differently, as they realize that there is now an emotional stability and peace that did not exist before. This is reflected in romantic relationships. Instead of being just one among many, he becomes someone rare, a man whose presence inspires respect and desire. He doesn't need to strive to conquer, he simply is. And high-value women notice this difference, because they feel the energy of someone who is not desperate for validation, but rather brimming with authentic strength. Furthermore, this change brings a clear new light on what really matters in a relationship. The man who preserves his energy no longer gets involved in empty connections, but seeks something true, aligned with his life purpose. He understands that the light he carries within himself should only be shared with those who add value. But the most interesting thing is that, as he grows stronger on this journey, something even more powerful begins to happen. A natural magnetism that attracts opportunities, people, and experiences that were previously unattainable. There is a kind of presence that cannot be faked. When a man learns to preserve his vital energy, he naturally becomes magnetic. It's not something he says or does, it's something he is. This magnetism comes from accumulated inner strength, quiet confidence, and emotional stability that few possess. The Creator of the universe gave us a shine of His own, but most dissipate this light in fleeting distractions. When this energy is held back, it intensifies, making the man's presence impossible to ignore. He enters a room and, without saying a word, makes an impact. People feel this difference. Men begin to respect him more, and women notice something different about him, an energy that can't be explained, only felt. It's not arrogance, it's not showing off, it's just the peace of someone who knows themselves deeply. This is reflected in the way he walks, talks, and looks. His gaze has more depth, his voice has more firmness, and his actions demonstrate conviction. Semen retention causes previously wasted energy to be channeled towards a greater purpose, and this creates a gravitational effect. Just as planets are attracted to the sun, people begin to feel attracted to this new vibration. But the true power of this practice lies not only in the effect it has on others, but in the internal transformation it provides. This magnetism not only serves to attract attention or admiration, but to open doors to opportunities that previously seemed distant. When a man learns to direct this energy towards his life mission, he realizes that everything begins to flow naturally. Prosperity, the right contacts, the right opportunities, everything starts to align. But that's just one of the side effects of this journey. What happens when that energy is channeled into financial and material success? Many think that semen retention only affects sexual energy, but the benefits go far beyond. When a man learns to preserve his vital force, he notices that his disposition increases, his mental clarity improves, and even his ability to generate wealth expands. This is no coincidence. The Creator of the universe gave us a body that works like a power plant, but when we waste this strength, we become weak, distracted, and directionless. Anyone who learns to channel this energy into work, business, or any life project realizes that prosperity begins to appear almost as a natural effect. The impact on the physique is also notable. The body gains more resistance, training at the gym yields more, and even muscle recovery becomes faster. This happens because semen retention preserves essential nutrients for the body, allowing it to function at its maximum potential. Furthermore, inner peace becomes evident. The man feels that he is in control, that his emotions are stable, and that his strength cannot be shaken by any small adversity. This new reality creates a ripple effect. Those who were previously dominated by impulses now become disciplined, determined, and with a defined purpose. And in the spiritual field, the impact is even deeper. Great masters and sages have always taught that mastery of sexual energy leads to a heightened state of consciousness. The light within shines brighter, intuition strengthens, and the connection to something greater deepens. The mind becomes quieter, thoughts become clearer, and the man begins to realize that he is living in line with his true essence. But what happens when this transformation completely changes the way he sees the world and the people around him? Most men don't realize how their energy affects the way they are treated by society. Those who live exhausted, without vitality, are easily ignored, manipulated, and underestimated. Those who preserve their strength naturally stand out. Not because he tries to attract attention, but because his presence is different. The Creator of the universe created man to be strong, resilient, and respected, but modern society teaches otherwise. It teaches him that he must be passive, submissive, and emotionally weak. Those who retain their energy realize this manipulation and choose a different path. The change in social dynamics is a consequence. When a man preserves his life force, his inner peace becomes unshakable, and this puts him in a unique position. He no longer allows himself to be carried away by useless arguments, he no longer seeks approval, and he no longer reacts impulsively to provocations. He observes, analyzes, and ages intelligently. This makes other men respect him, and women notice something intriguing about him. He becomes that kind of person who doesn't need to work hard to be noticed. His energy speaks for itself. And those who don't understand this difference begin to wonder, what's so special about this guy? But this new perception comes with a price. The man who rises to a higher level realizes that he can no longer mix with those who are still caught up in the common game. He sees that most people live like zombies, unaware of what is happening around them. The light within him grows stronger, but he also realizes that he now has a greater responsibility, to use this energy to build something great. And this is where the connection between semen retention and spirituality becomes impossible to ignore. Semen retention is not just a physical practice, but a path of spiritual evolution. Since ancient times, masters and sages have understood that this energy is sacred, a gift from the creator of the universe that must be used wisely. Whoever wastes this strength without awareness loses not only vitality, but also connection with something greater. When a man decides to honor his own energy, he finds his spirituality deepens. Your mind calms, your intuition strengthens, and your presence becomes more enlightened. He feels he is aligned with a higher force. Furthermore, he realizes that this choice goes beyond him. He begins to see his purpose more clearly, understanding that his life has a greater meaning than simply chasing fleeting pleasures. His inner peace expands because he knows he is on the right path, honoring not only his own journey, but also those who came before him. Ancient warriors, monks, and spiritual leaders have always understood this truth. A man who masters his energy becomes unshakable. He feels like he is part of something bigger, a mission that transcends the material plane. And this change impacts every decision he makes. He chooses his relationships with more discernment, his words with more awareness, and his actions with more responsibility. The light he carries within himself becomes evident to everyone around him. He doesn't need to preach or convince anyone. His presence is enough to inspire. But there is one crucial detail. This journey is not for everyone. Only those who truly want to transform their lives will have the courage to follow this path. And now, the question is, are you ready to become one of them? Now that you know the power of semen retention, there are only two ways. Continue living as before, wasting your energy and always feeling one step behind, or take control of your life force and transform your life completely. The creator of the universe gave you all the tools to become a strong, respected, and magnetic man. The only question that remains is, will you use them or continue like the majority? Think about all the times you feel tired, unmotivated, or insecure. Now imagine what it would be like to wake up every day with clarity, discipline, and an internal power that few people even imagine exists. The peace you always seek is within you, waiting to be awakened. The question is, will you act or will you continue on autopilot, letting your energy escape? Whoever makes this decision never looks back. The light that is born from this choice is so intense that it completely transforms your reality. So tell me, are you ready to take that step? Do you have the courage to step out of mediocrity and live to your true potential? If so, leave your comment here and share your experience. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to continue learning about this hidden knowledge that few master. Your future starts now.